Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 14. We presenting about impact of Quranic teaching in emotional and social life of student. So, from the intro, we know religious play a really vital role in shaping all of this. But as we know, we have a few questions that we will answer. So for the first two questions, I, Nur Shazana Swamiti Nazri, 2414390 will present it. So first question is, how do Quranic teaching influence student emotional and mental regulation? So for the first one, we know that Quran is a guidance for all mankind. So basically they have everything that we know that we can use for guidance. So from it, we know there are several core values that we as a student have to implement in our life. For the first is sabar. So we know sabar is patience. So student life have a really stressful event, and we need patience to guidance our lives. The next one is tawakkul. We have to have faith and faith so that we know that we are doing a really good job in this world, and we know that we have a purpose in this life. Next, syukur. So of course syukur is playing a really vital role in maintaining our mental health, because when we are syukur, we usually didn't get stressed because we know what we sow, what we see, what we sow. Okay, so and then stress also we have a regulation, stress regulation toward faith. So by doing by having a faith, usually students have stress regulation that are manageable, because when we have faith, we know that whatever hardness, whatever hardship that we encounter in our life, we know that we have a stress. We know we have Allah. We know that Allah give our hardship or whatever, and we know that everything have a purpose. So the second question is about role of Quranic in shaping students' social behavior and relationship. So basically, how do Quran shaping our life, of course. But this way is about social. So first is akhlak. Akhlak, Quran will shaping our akhlak, because Quran have several role, and there are lots of values that you can follow, especially if it's about Rasulullah SAW. And then so we know they have justice, empathy that we can use in our life. Then honesty as a crucial in social value. So this one is about relationship. So relationship, the core of it have to build in a honesty. So honesty is really important in our life. So when Quran verse explaining about honesty, we know that it's shaping our life, because it's shift our perspective to understand it better. And then it also improves social behavior, because as we know that when there is several core values, and the values is good enough for us, and then we eventually will know that we have to have a good cooperation. We are not a lone wolf in our life. We have several others that we have to respect, and that's eventually lead to us to have a effective communication, because we implement all the core values. So we know that Islam doesn't build and doesn't spread just by itself. So we know in relationship, the effective communication also have it. So in student life, basically everything that in Quran will eventually implement in us is if we understand what is it. There's also we can learn from a lesson from the past. So basically, in Quran there are several historical value, historical story that we know that sometimes things happen because of what, and then we can avoid it, because everything past lesson will be a huge teaching to us. So, and this last one is Quran is shaping our behavior, social behavior, because it's discourage arrogance. So it basically in the Quranic verse, it's means like Allah really didn't like this arrogance in our life, because arrogance means we have pride. So we are just a human being. We are just a normal human being. So we know that arrogance is not good in our life, and it has several impact in our life if we didn't control it. So that's all for me, and the next three questions will be answered by my teammates.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi. My name is Izzah Masturina binti Khairul Hadi with matric number 2416090, and I'm going to talk about how the student perceive the relevance of Quranic teachings in their daily life and in their daily emotional and social challenges. Student perception of the Quran's relevance in addressing daily emotional and social challenges are generally positive, especially among those who actively engage in Quranic studies or personal reflection. Many find that Quranic wisdom provide not just spiritual comfort but also practical guidance for dealing with common issues such as friendship conflict, family expectation, emotional burnout, and personal identity struggles. This group of people mainly turn to Quran every time they were troubled or distressed by something, either regarding their personal life or doubt about themselves. They might have a strong foundation of Islamic teaching in their everyday environment and naturally follow their parents' habit. Subsequently, the offered comfort from Quranic verses help them to get through obstacles in life and make them easier to accept any adversity. However, the level of awareness about this emotional and social lesson varies. Some students are fully conscious of how deeply the Quran addresses human psychology and relationship, while others may need structured guidance or educational support to uncover this insight. The group with low level of awareness may have been live in environment that did not take educate understanding each solution that Quran might offer. It led them to use Quran as only an ibadah with only recitation but not understanding of the content they recite. Subsequently, they will not grasp the relevance of applying some of things they should know in their life, living their lives with a minimal guidance when having any breakdown or mental strain. Some students might be a little close-minded and thinking that the Quranic teaching is not relevant for present time, even when they are aware of the existence of teaching regarding emotional and social development. They will not try to apply it to their life. The Quran teaching will be wasted and they possibly can lead a meaningless life. Now I'm going to talk about to what extent are students aware of the emotional and social teachings in the Quran. Students' awareness of the emotional and social facet of the Quran's teaching is greatly influenced by their educational background, family upbringing, and interest in Islam and Islamic studies in general. Islamic education, especially in memorization classes, greatly impacts student awareness, as is clear with those in varieties or Islamic school. They do not just engage in rote memorization of Quranic verses. Rather, they are taught the meaning and usage of those verses in everyday life. This holistic approach enhances one's understanding on how the Quran deals with a person's emotional concern, interpersonal relationship, the empathy, social, patience, and resilience. A case study conducted on some Tafiz students found that their overall religiosity improves as a result of the curriculum, specifically with regard to their faith, worship, and moral rationale. On the other hand, pupils who do not have formal channels for an Islamic education or whose engagement with the Quran is purely ritual may grasp its emotional and social teachings at best superficially. Such limited exposure contribute to a gap between the recitation of certain part of the Quran and the ability to manage one's emotion and socialize meaningfully. This lack of awareness may stem from an educational background that emphasizes rote memorization, which is tahfiz, without teaching the meanings and real-life application of the verses. In some households, children are taught to read the Quran phonetically from a young age, but are never encouraged to understand or reflect on its teaching. As emphasized in Surah Swad, this is a blessed book which we have revealed to you, O Muhammad, that they might reflect upon its verses and that those of understanding would be reminded. Moreover, the culture and society also have an impact on students' understanding. In a context where students are expected to invest most of their energy into academics, the spiritual dimension may be neglected. Alongside the need to appreciate the role of the Quran in a person's emotional and social development. This calls for educational institutions, at the very least, to seek framework that integrate the teaching of discipline with the nurturing of the spirit and moral values. When students face academic pressure or emotional burnout, Quranic teachings about patience, reliance on Allah, and gratitude can be sources of strength. If they were taught to connect with them meaningfully, without Quranic direction, students may see temporary coping mechanisms such as substance use, overconsumption of entertainment or adultery that fail to provide deeper fulfillment or purpose, resulting in spiritual emptiness.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Aisha Sadrina and I will explain about how integrating Quranic principles in education can help students improve emotional maturity and interpersonal skills. The main question is, can Quranic teachings help students grow emotionally and socially? The answer is yes. They help students become more self-aware, manage emotion better, and behave ethically. So the first point is emotional intelligence from Quranic principles. Quranic teaching are not just religious obligation, but they also help us understand ourselves better. They teach us how to manage our emotion, be empathetic, and act with integrity. This will lead to better communication, teamwork, and stronger relationships. The second point is Islamic approach to emotional development. There are three main Islamic methods that support emotional development. The first one is Uswatun Hasanah, which means good role model. Our Prophet Muhammad SAW is the best example. He showed patience, kindness, and emotional control. Teachers and parents should also follow this model to help students develop a good character. Second method is habituation. This means repeating good behavior until it becomes a habit. So, when students are reminded to be patient and think before acting, they slowly become emotionally stronger. The third method is advice and teaching. The Quran is full of advice about how to manage our feelings. So, through those stories, discussion, and reflections in the Quran, students learn how to apply this lesson in daily life. In conclusion, integrating Quranic values in education build a well-rounded individuals, which is students who are emotionally stable, socially responsible, and prepared to face life with confidence and faith. That's all. Thank you.